Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Big Blue News Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Beasmore. Of course, we've got the co-host with us, Nolan Fleming, but also want to announce that, of course, our podcast is presented by KY Insider, and Nolan Fleming right now is on the go. Where are you at right now, man?
Actually, I'm at Kroger Field. Been a busy day. Can't get to my dorm. So there you go.
Oh, it's been a busy day, apparently, so I guess you're at Kroger Field. I guess you're
Yeah,
kind
see you
of,
right there.
yeah. He's on the go. It reminds me of Sean Smith whenever he was always in his car during the summer on Sources Say. If y'all listen to that podcast, it's a great podcast. Go
You
check
have
it
to do
out.
what you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm pulled over right now though, so it's okay. I'm not driving.
Oh yeah, it's all good. But yeah, definitely go check out Sources Say with Jack Pilgrim and Sean Smith. It's a great podcast. Shout out to them. But let's get into the podcast. We have a lot to talk about. Kentucky men's basketball obviously losing to Kansas. They play again on Friday. Kentucky does. Football on Saturday, UK against South Carolina. So got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it immediately. So Kentucky basketball took a loss to the number one team, Kansas, 89-84, and it was a great game from basically start to finish. Obviously, the start was a little rough, down 8-0 to start out, and then
Yeah.
losing on a 14-2 run at the end. But let's get into it. What were your thoughts about the game, Owen?
I was disappointed in the moment because I thought we should have won. We kind of gave it up. We gave it up. The game was in our hand and we lost it. But overall, after the game, very optimistic because we looked dangerous in that game at times. I think give me this team in March with bigs, or at least a little bit of depth with bigs.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're winning a national championship, but they are more than set to go on a run.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I don't think UK necessarily needs all three big men. And I said this before I listened to Sources Say last night. And I said, I
Yeah.
think UK needs to use two of their three big men,
Mm,
basically heavy minutes, and then use their third big men or third big
yeah.
man, if needed, if, the other two have foul troubles or if there's another injury that happens. And
Yeah.
obviously, I didn't name the center, but basically what Jack and Sean were both saying was probably going to be Hugo if is the center that won't get a lot of minutes coming up.
Mm, yeah.
Mhm.
No, I agree.
But but yeah, I want to talk a little bit of the stat line. Obviously, UK lost 89-84, but for UK to even be in that game with Antonio Reeves shooting 7 for 25, DJ Wagner 1 for 12, and Justin Edwards going 0 for 6 from the field, just for UK to be in that game. Overall, the team shot 33% from the field. Oh no, we lost Nolan Fleming. Now he's back.
No, I'm here. I just got my car.
But yeah, just for UK to be in that game with our three starters to shoot that awful, it's crazy to me. Obviously, Kansas didn't shoot the ball much better. I mean, they did. They
No,
shot 48%, my bad. But yeah, 48% compared to UK's 33% from the field. It's
we only.
insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. The thing about our shooting percentage is that it's going to be misleading because we clearly like to run.
Yeah.
It's so fast paced. We're going to get our shots up.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think the biggest mistake we made was when we stopped running
Hmm.
because Kansas had no idea what to do. You could
Yeah.
tell they had no clue what was going on. They didn't have any idea how to play with us.
Hmm.
I have no idea why we slowed down into the half court. That was weird decision. Should not have done that. I
Yeah.
think we win the game probably if we don't do that.
I think
But
probably some players were probably tired. I would say tired legs.
yeah, but I
Players on
think
the
this
plane.
this team this team's stamina and their resilience, I guess, is a lot different than a lot of teams. I think you
Yeah,
can just tell it. Also, that stretch by Dillingham where he hit the four threes in a row and then
I know.
Reeves, that was insane.
Yeah, I've never
Uh,
seen something like that.
I haven't been I've not been more excited since 2019 or
Yeah,
18.
you could say that 2018, 2019. I was thinking 2016 or 2017, like 2016, 2017
I
season.
say 2018 or 19 because I'm talking about like remember when Keldon Johnson against Tennessee
Mhm.
had the 3 in a row or whatever, and he hit one from the freaking about half court almost. I mean, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, we look like we're going to be fun to watch,
Yeah, I
and
think so
that's kind
too.
of all I'm asking for anyway, because we have been really boring since COVID, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a fun few games for sure. Definitely in that 2021, 2022 season has some fun games. 22-23 has some fun games, but overall, I think this game could be fun from start to finish for the whole season for sure.
Yeah,
Instead of a few games where, Kentucky will go off like in 21-22 with Kellen Grady going off against Alabama. Such an insane game, something all the fans will definitely remember. But I think this is our best, probably backcourt we've had with probably DJ Wagner. If he steps up, which I think he will, if DJ and Rob both step up, I think this could be the best backcourt since 2016, 2017 with De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk.
yeah, I agree. And I think Wagner and Edwards are going to have to get better though, because I mean, I don't know that really goes. It kind of goes without saying. I mean, we need them badly. Dillingham is great. Reed Shepard is good. Reeves is good too. But we need Wagner and Edwards to be dogs,
I
and I
agree.
think they are. I think that was just a. Uh, there's been the whole thing about DJ Wagner having jitters and stuff. Yeah, but I'm not saying like, oh, get over it or anything like that. But it does not get any easier.
It does not for sure. And I think, like you said, has some jitters, but also Justin Edwards missed some point blank, shots.
That
So
dunk,
did
that
DJ
dunk,
Wagner.
he literally got rim checked on a dunk.
I
That
know.
was pitiful to watch. I don't understand, why not go up with two hands? Aren't you safer doing that? Go up with
Yeah.
two hands. You don't have to be flashy on every play, you
Well, to
know?
be fair, you jump higher if you only use one hand instead of two hands. So
But
maybe,
but this is different though. He was wide. He was wide open. It didn't really
yeah,
matter.
yeah,
He didn't have to go. He just score the points. Don't
yeah.
worry about the flashings.
I agree with you for sure. I think there was one key possession in the UK Kansas game towards the end of the game. Obviously, I'm not blaming DJ Wagner for this loss or anybody because everybody has to step up. But one key thing, UK was down 85-83. I forgot how much time was left. I think 2 minutes. DJ Wagner misses the layup. I think he gets a steal. He misses the layup. We get
Yep.
the rebound. Trey Mitchell goes up with it. He misses a shot. He makes one of two, and then UK obviously never had the lead.
Yeah, that
It was
was
85,
I
84.
don't I don't blame Trey either, because he was gassed. You could just look at him and tell he was like dying. I mean, him and Adu both were very clearly out of it,
Mhm.
and exhausted. And credit to Adu, by the way. He played his ass off. 16 points, 13 rebounds. That's he made I think he made a name for himself.
I
And
think so.
he solidified a role for himself too. I mean, he's going to be hard to keep off the court if he's going to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Adu Thiero played 31 minutes. Trey Mitchell played 39 of the 40 minutes, which is insane.
Jeez.
So he only had 1 minute where he was on the bench. So I'm glad he was able to play, obviously. Hunter Dickinson was a little rough on him. I posted a video on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and had Louisville and, of course, Kansas fans saying, where were the fouls on that play? Or where was he playing like hard? And obviously, UK fans were saying he was playing so dirty. But if you don't want to look at that, it's on
I think I
NFC
agree
North
with both
Twitter.
sides, by the way. I think there are plays where he did, and there are plays where he was probably okay.
Yeah.
He should have had a tech on him, though, I thought, whenever he was crying about an elbow. Because
Yeah.
right after that, he went down towards Mitchell and pushed at him and looked like he was getting ready to try to grab him until the referees got involved. That was that was really dirty. He's a good player, but he is a baby.
But there's a couple of times where I thought he was a little too far. I remember one time he scored a bucket and then he just pushed Trey Mitchell afterwards. I'm like, what the
I
heck?
hated that. Like, dude, you just scored. Chill out. And then he hit a three when they were down by like, and it cut the lead from 14 to 11, I think, or 11 to 8. And he was all like, yeah, and all that stuff. And I was like, you're getting killed right now. Like, you're losing.
Yeah.
But I mean, can't say anything. They beat us.
Yeah,
We should have won the game, though. I was proud that we kept it close, but they should have won the game.
I agree for sure.
They just let it slip right through their fingers.
Yeah, and for Hunter Dickinson to go for 27 and 21 is insane. And then obviously DeJuan Harrison Jr. killed Kentucky at the end. He made
Yeah.
obviously two clutch threes to basically tie the game and everything. DeJuan Harris had 23 points for them, and 7 assists, which is great. He obviously also went 5 for 6 from the line. And just what killed us at the end was from the 4-minute mark to the end of the game, Kansas went on a 14-3 run at the end. I think that's what killed us. And obviously, I'm not also blaming Rob Dillingham at all, but during that stretch from the 4 to the 2-minute mark, Kansas went on a 9-2 run. Obviously, Dillingham had 2 bad defensive lapses and then a bad shot. So obviously,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best.
Yeah. Dillingham getting caught behind that screen was that was a killer. And then the DeJuan Harris three. But overall, and this will probably be the last thing I say about it, is I don't know. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with it. Don't turn on the team just because they lost to the number 1 team in the country. I know we're Kentucky, we're supposed to win, but this team is so young, and the fact that they looked as good as they did for as long as they did is really impressive. And I think come March, when we're going to be better. We're going to be better in March. That's how we are. Even on our down years, even in 9 and 16, I mean, there was an argument no, there wasn't. But like last year, we were better in March than we were all year, even though we never really clicked. But give me Kansas in March, and I think that this team has a really good chance, like a really good chance with a big.
I agree with you for sure. But it'll be interesting to see what happens this season. Obviously, UK is back in action again tomorrow against Stonehill. It's a D2 team, and I think UK will blow them out. Currently, right now, the point spread for that game is 31 points. UK is a 31-point favorite, which I think it will happen. I mean, after
I'm not calling it. Last time I called it with Commerce, we only won by 20. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna say under.
but we also got off to a rough start. I think we were down 21-8 or something against Commerce.
That's the thing about us too, though, is we're off to terrible starts. We're not good at starting games.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Obviously, Kansas start off 8-0 or something, and
Yep.
I thought it was just going to be a bloodbath.
I thought it was going to be a murder, and then really Reed Shepard changed the game.
Rob Dillingham too. Can't forget
Rob
him.
Dillingham, but Reed Shepard in the immediate because he got out there and he got the steals and on defense, and then he hit the 2 threes. That really put us right back in it.
Yeah, and obviously being a freshman, Reed Shepard probably thought there was less time on the clock, but there was still 6 seconds left at the end, and he obviously.
Oh, there was more than that. It was like 12 or 13. It was a lot of time. That was a terrible shot, but I don't hold that against him. He's a freshman.
Yeah, like I said, freshmen will make mistakes at the very beginning, but as long as they learn throughout the season and Kentucky can get wins eventually, which I think they will against good teams, they'll be fine come March. And I think it will happen. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I think this is the best backcourt Kentucky has had since probably 2016.
It's been a while. Definitely been a while.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. But yeah, so like I said, Kentucky back in action against Stonehill College, 31-point favorites. I'll go with the over on that. I think Kentucky will cover that. Over under for the whole game is 145. So that would be like 90-50 again.
Yeah, I'm not taking that.
I think it'll happen. I mean, after what UK did to Kansas, obviously we lost, but for it to be so high scoring, I think Kentucky could easily get in the 90s.
Yeah, we're a high-powered offense. That's crazy, but we are. We're a very high-powered offense. We're gonna have to work on defense, though.
Yeah,
quite a bit. But I think when we get a rim protector, I think we're gonna be okay.
I agree with you on that. I mean, Aaron Bradshaw has beefed up. Ugana Oyenso has definitely beefed up. Obviously, Zavonimir Visage is working to get beefed up, and hopefully he'll be, eligible soon with the NCAA. Obviously, there has been no No announcement from the NCAA on
Mm-mm.
Savonimeter's eligibility right now, currently.
Please hurry up on that.
Please hurry up. Um, but yeah, I agree with you on that. Obviously, once Savonimeter gets into the weight room, he'll be fine. I I could easily see him gaining some pounds. Obviously, he lost like 10 pounds because of him getting food poisoning.
Yeah, but I just want the NCAA to clear him. That's all I want. I don't even care about the body stuff right now. We just need him to be able to play.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Obviously, the NCAA usually has 45 days to rule on a player, so that will be coming up soon. I tweeted that out from what
Mm-hmm.
Tristan Ferris had to say. He gave the info out. Let me see if I can find that. Um, yeah, so if it was whenever Zavonimir Ivicic was admitted at UK on October 4th, that means he will be admitted by the NCAA or denied by November 18th, so in 2 days. Or
Right.
if he was on campus on October 12th, it would be November 26th. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Makes sense to me, I guess.
Yeah, so it's coming up soon, hopefully. Obviously, UCLA, their big man took about 59 days for him to get eligible, I believe. So hopefully the NCAA can make a decision very soon.
Yep.
But let's stop talking about that, I guess, and then we can talk about Kentucky football for a second. And Kentucky football, before we get into that South Carolina game, man, oh man, they landed 2 recruits just recently. We talked about one in our last podcast with the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Nave from Ohio State, he committed there first, obviously decommitted, opened up his recruitment, committed to Kentucky. And then the other player that we got a commit from was Jason Patterson. He flipped from Cincinnati to Kentucky.
Yeah. That was a huge deal. Getting Patterson flipped and also getting Nave or what? How do you say the last name?
I'll go by Nave, but obviously it could be Nave.
Well, either way, getting him is a big deal too. As you flipped a guy from Ohio State, that's a pretty good recruiting win right there. Um, I mean, this class it's looking good now. With you kind of have the monster class we were talking about early on in like August when you got because now you get we said if you get Patterson and Robinson and the Smith twins, and all of a sudden you look really great. And
Mhm.
then they didn't get Patterson, and it was like, well, they can still get Robinson and the Smith twins. Um, now that you got Patterson with them, and we'll just call him Mark and Mark,
Mark.
uh, and you're really looking great. I mean, it's a really good class.
I agree with you for sure. Obviously, I wish we could get some more 5 stars on the team because if you start getting 5 stars, you'll be competing against finally Georgia and Alabama, which is completely a different beast. But obviously, this game against South Carolina is going to be a big one. Before we talk about that, I do want to talk about the interview that I had with Jason Patterson the other night. Sadly, Nolan couldn't join on the interview, but here's what Jason Patterson had to say on why he flipped to Kentucky. Welcome back into the Big Blue News Podcast. Sadly, Nolan Fleming couldn't join me in this part of the podcast, but I'm joined right now by 4-star running back from the class of 2024, Jason Patterson, who just recently flipped his commitment from Cincinnati to Kentucky. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Thank you for joining. So let's get into it. What made you finally decide to flip from Cincinnati to Kentucky?
It was just, just building a relationship over time with Coach Bower and Coach Stoops and Coach Cohen, led ultimately to my decision to flip my commitment, really. And I feel like it's a better fit for me at Kentucky.
Could you explain why it might be a better fit for you at Kentucky compared to
Uh,
Cincinnati?
because of the style of football that my high school plays, it's kind of like grit, power. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna play good defense, and that's kind of what Kentucky has been. That's kind of what Coach Stoops has brought over to Kentucky is that we're gonna play hard. We're gonna play good defense. We're gonna run the ball, and you have to come stop us.
Yeah, and you were also talking about the relationship with coaches. Could you explain a little bit with that as well?
Yeah. So like the relationship with Coach Bower, like it has gotten way better than what it used to be. Which led I chose since that first because I didn't have a strong relationship with him.
Hmm.
Talking to him over time and through this whole process, it's led me to like that's my guy. Like that's who I want. That's how I want to coach me. And Coach Cohen, that's always my guy from day one. You know, he pushed me hard. When he found out I wasn't coming, he was upset a little bit. But when I told him I'm coming back on his birthday, and that was his best birthday gift he saved everybody. So
I hear you. So before you flipped to Kentucky, were there any other schools you were considering? I know you were committed to Cincinnati at the time.
uh it was really solely Kentucky. It was really solely Kentucky.
Hmm. What do you hope to accomplish when you do step on campus at Kentucky?
Um a little bit of I want to win the SEC. If I don't want to win the SEC, I want to come in there, uh, be really the best guy I could be within these next 3 to 4 years, and just try to win the SEC. That's my goal, to win the SEC and then win that championship.
Hmm. And have you been talking to any other recruits or the other recruit right now for the running back with Tavani Missile at all?
Yeah, I haven't really. Me and Tavani texted a little bit over the summer before I made my decision to Cincinnati. So we texted a little bit. I'm cool with Cutter Bowley, the quarterback that's committed. Now that's my guy. So he was kind of upset when I chose that Cincy. So when I came back, that's kind of my guy too.
Hmm. Yeah, and Cutter Bowley was actually on the show that or my TV station, news station where I work at actually. So that's actually pretty cool. I got to talk to him for a little bit today.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Mhm. When are you expecting to sign your national letter of intent?
Hopefully the first day, December 20th. I plan on being there in January.
Mhm. And I know it's a little early, but do you plan to early enroll at all at Kentucky
Yeah, in January.
in January? All right. Do you have anything else you would like to add tonight?
Nah, Big Blue Nation, let's go. Ready?
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it, and I'll get this episode probably uploaded tomorrow or Thursday.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. But yeah, overall, Jason Patterson said basically his contact with Jay Boulware got a lot better because he said he didn't really know him at the time because obviously Boulware is new to the coaching staff. He became the running back and special teams coach for Kentucky. So obviously his relationship got better with Boulware, and that was the main thing. He always had that contact relationship with Liam Cohen. So basically that's one of the reasons why he flipped to Kentucky.
That's a good flip too. I was under the impression it was going to be over until like I don't know, and then stuff started coming out and all that, and then it was like, oh wow, because he did tell me that he was locked into Cincinnati. He was on my podcast. It was terrible on my part, but it was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Uh, no, he's great. Jason Patterson's a very very good. Like I said, having spoken to him a numerous amount of times, I'm not even thinking from the running back perspective. I just like him in general, and I think he's a great kid, and I think he's going to be great here.
I think so too, and I'm glad we got him. Obviously, the only other running back we have in this class is Tavani Missile, and obviously, a lot of players could potentially be leaving from the running back room. This year with obviously Ray Davis, Ramon
Yeah,
Jefferson, Juton McLean, potentially. I mean, the running back room could be losing a lot of players. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Definitely.
yeah, it will be. I think we're going to be okay though. Either way, we're going to be really young next year though. That's a given almost.
I agree with you on that. Unless we hit the transfer portal hard, like we did last year.
I'm
Obviously,
sure we will to an extent, but like the running back room and the wide receiver room, I mean, it is going to be a little younger.
yeah. And I'll be interested to see if any of the wide receivers obviously transfer. Obviously, I'm just saying that I don't know for sure if there's going to be anybody transferring, so it's just a rumor. I won't put out any names, but it'll be interesting to see if anybody from the wide receiver core group will transfer at all, in my opinion.
Right.
Obviously, UK will probably not have Devin Leary next year. This is probably its last year unless he can get another year of eligibility, which I doubt will happen. So UK will probably have to hit the transfer portal to find another
Yeah.
quarterback.
I doubt they're getting back to. And honestly, and I don't hate on Devin Leary. I think he's had moments here, but it might be okay to move on. Not because he's bad, but because it just seems like we need a different type of quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I agree
Like
with
one that can run is what we need.
I agree with you on that for sure. Have somebody who can get out of the pocket. Obviously, he doesn't have to necessarily run, but definitely get out of the pocket, be able to move the line wherever he goes because it's so annoying. Obviously, he's taken sacks, but he's also been able to avoid being sacked by his just upper body strength, lower body strength, of course. But it's just been annoying where he just stays in the pocket whenever everybody's surrounding him. I'm like, make a move, just get outside the pocket a little bit so you can throw to a receiver.
Yeah. Like you said, I think that's a lot to do with his injury, though. That's why he stays back there. I mean, you do lose a lot of mobility with a knee injury or whatever it was he had. What was it he had?
I know he tore his pec. I can't remember his other injury.
He had a knee injury of some sort of thing.
Yeah, but obviously it'll be interesting to see what happens with UK in the future. Could UK potentially get a Texas quarterback with Quinn Ewers coming back at Texas?
Doubtful. If Arch Manning transfers, he's not coming to Kentucky.
I don't think Arch Manning will transfer, but
Oh,
obviously
you're talking about the other guy? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
What's
Obviously
his name?
I can't think of his name.
I
Obviously,
would like to have him. I think he would be great here. I think he would be a good quarterback for Kentucky.
yeah, I think so too. Obviously, it will be an interesting matchup with Texas this upcoming year. With Quinn
Yep.
Ewers returning, Arch Manning will probably be the starting quarterback in my opinion. But let's stop talking about the roster change for next year because obviously the transfer portal doesn't open up for another 3 more weeks. So it'll be interesting to hear about that. But let's start to talk about Kentucky football against South Carolina. And I think it'll be an interesting game. Wow. Actually, Kentucky is currently a 1-point favorite against South Carolina. And that's crazy because obviously I know South Carolina isn't great, 4-6 this year, but the game's at home. It's a night game. Sandstorm will be performing the song. So obviously it's going to be an electric game Saturday. And I'm just excited to see what happens. Obviously, UK is already bowl eligible, but everybody wants more. People want 8, 9 games to be won every year before the bowl game currently, right now.
Yeah, I would love to take away bowl eligibility from Shane Beamer. But feels like the fan base is not going to be getting up for this game. It doesn't feel a little bit like that
For South Carolina?
for both.
For both, obviously, for both Kentucky, obviously, they've had a dreadful season. I think, in my opinion, if you're able to win one of the 2 games that you lost against either Missouri or Tennessee, I think a lot of fans would have a little change on the season.
I would be okay because you're 7-3, but 6-4 is disappointing. But if you can win this in Louisville, I think, and get 8-4, I think you're fine. I think it's a good year, personally.
I think so too. Obviously, we predicted an 8-4 record.
I just think they need to win this week because I think they need to get 4-4 and get 500 in the SEC because I think going below 500 in the SEC is getting to the point of being a little unacceptable.
I agree.
3-5. That'd be 2 years in a row. We've been 3-5. I don't love that.
Neither do I. And I think, like I said, it's been just a little problem, I think, with our offense and, of course, our defense, too. Obviously, our defense hasn't stepped up recently in the past few weeks.
They've been pretty bad.
Offense has been pretty bad, too, obviously. It's gotten a lot better since the Tennessee game, but obviously you wish it could have gotten better earlier in the year, for sure.
Yeah. It's clear that Cohen has a certain type of quarterback, and I don't think Leary is that type.
Yeah.
and it's not Leary's fault. It's just it was kind of that's on Kentucky, if anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, I still think Leary is in another world. He's good. I think he is. I just think he wasn't right for the scheme.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious. He's a guy that needs to be playing up tempo. He cannot be playing slow, and that's what his coaches said. I mean, obviously, I'm not some genius that just figured that out. His own coaches at NC State said that he needs to be playing an up tempo offense and running like a hurry up, and we do not do that at all. We love to grind it out, and honestly, I am ready for a change when it comes to the offensive philosophy.
Yeah,
because it's it's obvious that that's not working.
Hopefully that change can happen this upcoming off season, but I think it'll be an interesting game. Shane Beamer said he will not be wearing the sunglasses at all on Saturday. He said he gave it to like his son or something, so basically he doesn't have sunglasses like last year. So I just
That's pretty funny.
I like the little heated rivalry that Coach Stoops and Shane Beamer had. But obviously, Stoops says there's no rivalry, there's no hatred towards each other. And I just find that funny because obviously there's a little something going on.
No, they clearly don't like each other in some way. They have some sort of beef.
Yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. But let's get into both score predictions for Kentucky basketball and Kentucky football so we can end this podcast. Obviously, like I said, UK in basketball, 31-point favorites. So I don't think it'll be close at all. I'll probably go with the over under. It was 145, so I'll go a little bit under than that. I'll go with let's go with 80 to 50.
I'm gonna go 85 to 63.
You think it'll be a little closer?
A little bit.
So instead of a 30-point blowout, it'll be
we need to. I can't wait for the court to change. By the way, I can't wait. I'm really excited for it.
Me too. It'll come the first week of December. That'll be exciting for sure for basketball.
Yeah.
And then obviously UK is a 1-point favorite, and the over under is 54 points. I'm going with the under on that. I don't think the over.
Oh yeah. We can't score, and neither can they. So I'm gonna go Kentucky 24 to 17.
24 to 17.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a little bit closer than that. I think it'll be close to the over-under with 54 points, but I'll go with 28 to 24. I think it'll be a little high scoring, but not too high scoring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
But overall, I know this was a shorter podcast because Nolan has stuff to do later this evening. I have stuff to do.
Matter of fact, I gotta go. So
yeah, he has
go
to
Big Blue.
Go Big Blue. But obviously, I'll finish up this podcast. Thank you all for obviously watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you all so much. And sorry this podcast was a little bit shorter, but we'll definitely have longer podcasts in the future. And go Big Blue, go Cats. And I think it'll be a great season with Kentucky basketball and with football. Obviously, hopefully they can finish up their season winning their last 2 games against South Carolina and Louisville. But thank you all again for listening and watching. And this is Chris Beasmore. And then, of course, my co-host, Nolan Fleming, signing out. Peace out.